Hello, everybody, and welcome to our inaugural Craft Collaborations fundraiser and our inaugural webinar as well. So if there's any gaps, you know perhaps why. It's a learning experience. So tonight we're going to have craft and cocktails, and we're also going to be speaking to a number of the craft collaborators who we're so thankful were a part of this project. So we can't just sit back, relax, enjoy. We're gonna have, it's gonna be quite fast paced. So you're gonna have a lot of different content coming at you and just enjoy. And I'm gonna turn it straight over to Jana Stanton, our illustrious executive director.
Thank you, Saskia. Thanks for everyone joining us tonight, this nice Wednesday evening. And I'm just gonna get things started off with land acknowledgement. So I would like to begin by acknowledging that Alberta is home to many First Nations, Métis and Inuit, whose footsteps have marked these lands for generations. And those of us joining from Alberta are on the traditional lands referred to as Treaty 6, 7, and 8 territories. And all of us are beneficiaries of these peace and friendship treaties. The Alberta Craft Council is dedicated to ensuring that the spirit of these treaties are honored and respected. So thank you all again for joining us tonight. We have a number of artists that we're going to chat with, and we have done a number of longer webinar interviews with our artists, and you can find those on our YouTube channel. But tonight it's going to be a little more quick pace, so we can just say hello and thank you to a number of artists who collaborated with us on this project. And the project impetus really was COVID. So not everything that's coming out of this situation is a negative. We've definitely had some really positive experiences and ideas, and we have a very adaptable staff who's ready to roll with it. So in the fall, we were intending on having a live gala in Calgary to support our activity there. And the P word, we had to pivot, and Saskia loves that word. But the P word, we had to pivot, and we decided that at this time when our artists and our community was very isolated, and a number of our artists had expressed to us that they were feeling challenged being creative during the early COVID times, we thought, why not put together this opportunity for our artists to collaborate, where they can connect with either new members or someone that they've always wanted to work with, to spark that creativity in their studios and their practice and strengthen their network. But also with this project, we are paying the artists, which is really important to us as part of this. So 50% of every retail bid or retail price goes directly to the artist. And we have had some artists who have generously donated their contribution to us again as well. But that's not something that we expect. We really want money going into the pockets of our artists during these challenging times. And we really appreciate so far that we've already raised, what are we at? We're at about $12,000, just shy of $12,000. So we'll see if we can get there by the end of the night. And from that money, there's almost $7,000 that's going directly into the pockets of our members, which is something that we're all very excited and proud about from the Craft Council. And it's just such a nice way to raise money for the Craft Council. And most of the artists that we've talked to have expressed interest in continuing working together, which is really a huge success. And there was quite a few people who also expressed that they would have liked to participate in this. So don't worry, I think we're going to be doing this again because it's been such a fun project for all of us involved at the Craft Council and with the artists in our community and with our supporters as well. And so from there, I am going to introduce you to our board chair, Tara Owen, just for a greeting on behalf of the board. Tara is an amazing jeweler. She also is a fantastic administrator. We've been lucky to have her on the board for, I believe, 18 years at least. But last year, we were very proud of Tara. She won the inaugural Rosé Foundation. What is the award called? Excellence in Board Leadership from the Rosé Foundation. And we couldn't be more proud of Tara. And that also brought $10,000 to our organization and extra support. So welcome, Tara. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you. So I have a little prepared speech because
I think Tara might be on mute still.
Oh, am I?
No, you're still.
Oh, we just don't have any speakers.
Yes. All Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can't hear.
I'm like looking for the little symbol.
We need to turn.
Okay. Okay, good. Hi, everyone. Sorry for that little hiccup there. I'm just reading from a thing. It is my honor to be here tonight as the chair of the board of the Alberta Craft Council and celebrating our 40th birthday as an organization. The ACC has come a long way in the past 40 years, having matured into a strong voice for our craft community, not just in Alberta, but nationally as well. I can't quite believe that I've been a part of the Craft Council for about half of that time, actually. That just occurred to me now, because I think I joined in 2000. Anyway, it was not lost on us, the makers, that at a time of national introspection due to a global pandemic, huge value was placed on being creative at home. People all over the world used their time to make things with the supplies they had available and showed off their handmade objects, or loaves of bread, via social media. We, the craftspeople, noted that in hard times, people turned to the arts as one of their pillars of strength and resiliency, something which the Alberta Craft Council already embodies and strives to expand. With the physical realities of our very tactile sector deeply affected with closed venues and distanced virtual settings, the Alberta Craft Council turned to other parts of our mandate, to the advocacy and education work that highlights members' voices as those who have been so seriously affected by the pandemic. The ACC stood on the strong foundations that had been laid over previous decades in order to embrace change and align with calls for action. We turned our attention to the positive impacts that a new normal could bring and work towards bringing them to fruition. It's been a hard year and it's not over yet, but in many ways it has made us stronger, more united, and more resolute than ever. One of the difficult things that the ACC had to let go of this year was our ability to celebrate in person at our planned fall fundraisers. But instead of wallowing for too long in that loss, we figured out an exciting way to still highlight our members in our community. Over the summer, the paired participants have connected and collaborated in order to create one-of-a-kind artwork and experiences. The results of these exceptional artist collaborations are here tonight. It's been thrilling to experience this different way of working. And it's been wonderful to be with you all for this event virtually. Let's get on with the festivities. Thank you.
All right. Sorry, guys, we're having a few little technical glitches along the way, but that's
First webinar.
it's not our first webinar, but it's our first reality TV show from the basement of the Craft Council, and we'll figure this out by the time we start modifying this thing. Sorry about that. All right, so next up, I'm going to introduce you to one of our artists. Vic is going to actually talk to us about proxy. Sorry.
Awesome. And I'm just here to quickly tell everyone, if you have not bid yet, our auction is going to close exactly at 8 o'clock, except if there are any hot bidding wars. There's something called anti-sniping, which means that if a bid comes in 5 minutes before the auction closes, it will actually extend the auction on that item for an extra 5 minutes. That's for all of you out there waiting for the very last second to enter your winning bid. So that won't happen, that can't happen. So we're gonna have these 5-minute increments. Also, if you haven't yet, you do need to register, but it's a very quick name, last name, email process, and then you're allowed to bid. So if you have any questions throughout our presentation here tonight, please just send us a message over chat and I'll be happy to help you get your bids in. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Victoria. And now back over to Jenna.
So now I will actually introduce you to Annette. Annette is one of our collaborators. She is going to collaborate with one of our lucky supporters. So Annette is a fantastic ceramic artist from Medicine Hat, Alberta. And I actually met Annette back in 2012 when she moved from Ontario to restart her ceramics practice by doing a one-year residency at Medelta International Ceramics Residency. And she fell in love with the process again, but also with Alberta and the community of Medicine Hat. So we've been so fortunate to have Annette move and relocate to our province, and recently moved to being a full-time artist as well. And you can find Annette's work in both Craft Council locations and across the country in other galleries and shops. And Annette, I'd love to hear a little bit more about the collaboration that you're going to be doing with one of our lucky supporters.
Sure, absolutely. Hello, everybody. I'm excited to be here. Excited to support the Craft Council. I love the Craft Council. And yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about what I've got on the go. I'm excited because this is, I haven't actually made the piece yet. So I don't even exactly know what I'm going to make yet, because that really is up to the winning bidder. And that's very exciting for me. So it can be a number of different things. It really depends on our conversation. Sometime before the new year, we'll have a conversation about what you would like to see. You may have an animal that you relate to. I love to do wildlife that's local to Alberta. And then we can incorporate props into that to make it uniquely you. So I'll just show you a couple examples here. This guy over here, you may be wise like an owl, and you may love winter, so we'll put you in some winter boots. But you may also be very well traveled. I don't know what your story is yet, but I'll hear. But if you are well traveled, then we could pair you with some suitcases, some matching luggage, or what have you as a prop to go with your piece. So yeah, there's really unlimited things that we could be doing together, and I'm very, very excited about whoever takes home the bid. So yeah, I've got another couple examples if I still have time. This guy over here has been a part of the promotion through the Craft Council. I started playing the ukulele during COVID and did a lot online, so that's why he's on a yoga ball and wearing slippers to show that he's indoors. But maybe this is more you. Maybe you're like a bunny, and maybe you love online learning, so we'll match you with a computer and a table. I've got one more as well here to show you. This, maybe you are very acrobatic like this squirrel, I'm not sure. And you enjoy going to the pub for a drink. Yeah, so there's lots of different options. And we would just communicate about that, and then I would make something for you. So I'm very excited about that. And yeah, I don't know how my timing is. Let's see. Oh yes, perfect time. Okay, good.
Perfect. Oh, thanks so much.
You're
Annette.
so
That's
welcome.
really great.
You're so welcome.
And I can't wait to see what you create when you collaborate with one of our supporters, and we'll definitely share images of that with everyone who's been following along with this. I know every time that you deliver a box of work to the Craft Council, I don't often see every single staff person swarm so quickly to help unpack a box like they do with your work, because there's so much character and just good energy and everything that you make.
Awesome.
So I'm really looking forward to a customer being able to share in that process with you and come away with something really unique.
Me too, very much. Thanks for this opportunity. It's very exciting.
Thank you, Annette.
Thanks, Annette. And then now I'm going to introduce everyone to our shop coordinator, Rael Lockwood. So we've had to change a few things around this year with COVID. And one of the things that we're changing is our annual fundraisers for 'Twas the Night and Let It Snow. Unfortunately, we can't get together in person, but Rael's here to tell us about a few of the packages that are still available on the auction tonight. Rael.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So I know all you guys love our annual event, Let It Snow and 'Twas the Night. But since we can't do that this year, we're hosting a series of exclusive shopping nights, which you can bid on. We're offering private shopping parties for you and your cohort or family or friends of up to 12 people. we'll be offering all-inclusive gift wrapping that night, as well as you'll get our members discount of 10%. If you're already a member, you'll get to double your discount that night and get 20% off all your purchases that night. It will be hosting you and your friends with some tailored cocktails, snacks, and light refreshments. Looks like we've got some good dates still available. I just pulled this up, so it looks like we still have Thursday, October the 22nd in Edmonton and in Calgary available. We still have Thursday, October the 29th available in both Calgary and Edmonton. And then it looks like Thursday, December the 3rd in Calgary still has yet to be bid on. So all the other ones have been bid on. Obviously, you can keep bidding. I'm sure there could be some competition for some of the prime slots in November. Like November the 19th, I know is a really popular time to shop for a lot of Christmas shoppers and holiday shopping. So take a look. If you want to spend some time with me and some staff, talk about crafts, get some like personal, private shopping expertise from our team here, join us for one of our shopping nights. So.
Great, thanks so much, Rael. We really can't wait to see everyone here. It'll be different to have us in a few small gatherings, but it'll be nice and intimate. We'll have a lot more time to talk to you about the artists and their work in the shop and some of the exhibitions that we have coming up during that time as well. So now I'm going to hand it back over to Saskia, who's going to introduce you to a few more of our collaborators.
That's right. We're going to continue on the clay theme and also figurative or anthropomorphic in a way work. So we have Don Diderando and Brian MacArthur of Voyager Tile. And I have this with me because it has gotten so much attention from everybody, the bunny. Now you should know that Jenna and I they made us choose between two of them, which was kind of a very cruel thing to do because they are really stunning. So if you are outbid today, know that there's another one to come. So Don and Brian, if you're familiar with Public Works, they have the beautiful legs. I wish I could remember the title of them by Southgate. Mansmo and Mansmo, thank you. As well as on 107th Street in Edmonton towards the legislature. They've been part of the family, the Craft Council family for a long time, Don also as a board member, and we couldn't be more pleased to have them be a part of this. They're based in Red Deer. And as part of our programming since the spring is we also started a series of craft studio stories. And we're gonna hear a little bit more about that later, but for now, we'd love to share what we did with, or Don and Brian did for us.
Hi there, I'm Brian.
I'm Dawn.
We're from Voyager Art and Tile.
Red Deer, Alberta, Canada.
And we'd like to take you on a tour of our studio.
We make a variety of decorative tile, public art, and our own individual sculptures. So come on inside.
Awesome. We built our studio to be very adaptive to different size and different types of projects. A slab roller. I have a drawing table and some music. Here's some finished pieces. But the large open space is really conducive to doing lots of different types of projects or working on several simultaneously. So we've worked on large glass mosaics on a huge table that we built in the space. We've also built a large brick sculpture that stands up in Edmonton. So we really wanted to be everything on rolling wheels and adaptive to many different functions.
So here we are in our glaze lab area and our tile pressing area.
We have a large cabinet with storage of our chemicals for making our own glazes. In the middle of the studio we have our lever tile press, where we make all the tiles on. Here's some plaster molds. These are the molds I need to work on to make bisqueware to make up orders. And then there's some rubber stamps to go on the back of the tiles. To your left is the glaze template rack. And over here we have our kind of glaze kitchen, pulled out some Mount Rundle tiles that we need to glaze. Here's a template sheet with our patterns and a sample tile and bisque tiles ready to be glazed. We also pulled out a maquette that we did for a large public sculpture in Edmonton of carved bricks. And there was the drawing we did for the proposal.
My work recently has been about bees and the pollinators in our gardens. I have used these as inspiration, and I'm looking forward to continuing in the same vein, only using maybe some different types of clay. Here we have some porcelaneous clay with some beeswax on the surface. I really love carving and telling stories about what's around us. I've started some new pieces, and I'm working with sort of a garden theme, thinking about carrots, idolizing carrots and onions and beets and the things that we grow, and using these rondelles to tell that story. So I'm quite excited about this.
Right now, I'm working on some dog sculptures inspired by our new dog, Des. I take lots of reference photographs and do some drawings. I'm working solid off of wooden armature. I cut them apart and hollow them out and then reassemble and refinish them, and then they'll be on posts on a base.
Thanks so much for joining us on our studio tour. Have a great year, and we'll see y'all soon on the Creative Highway.
Don't forget to wash your hands.
Now I want to know if you managed to train Des to bark on command like that, because that was a perfect ending to that video.
Yeah, we've got him trained on wash your hands and he'll bark. That's right.
We had the pleasure of course, meeting Des and seeing some of the work that was featured in the video when we were in Red Deer as well. And not everyone knows that you have a pretty extensive garden as well. So that's kind of been your main focus the last little bit, is what I'm hearing from Don as well. So not a lot of time to do any creation at this time. But what are you looking forward to once that harvest is behind you? What's going to be the next focus?
You know, I think the next focus, both Don and I are looking to kind of expand and develop kind of new work that we can create in the studio, to kind of expand our tile line and sculpture as well. So spending some more time individually and also developing and expanding Voyager Art and Tiles kind of work.
That's fantastic. Okay, so your tiles are, of course, one of the most popular gift items we have, especially come Christmas. They fly out the door. So we're looking forward to always, of course, new batches from that as well. And so, Brian, you were working on those beautiful Des sculptures, but from our communication, it hasn't really gone, well, you stalled a little bit, obviously, for harvest times. But when do you think we might see them? Because they are quite exquisite.
You know what, I'm just finishing some of the rugs, and Dawn was helping me kind of learn how to crochet and make mats for the bases of a number of sleeping Des sculptures, and I'm hoping to have them in the gallery maybe before the end of November, hopefully.
That's fantastic. And Dawn, of course, we were talking about your rondelles and the bees and your wonderful continuing fascination of the bees, which of course we can see on the surface of the honey bunny as well. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's a topic that I thought I guess I haven't explored it far enough yet, because I still feel like I have a lot of work to be done in that area. So I definitely am excited to get back at it as soon as we're done with harvest. And we're just finishing up a public art piece right now of a large glass mosaic, and we're just, as soon as we get that cleared out of the way, then I'm thinking just going back to that. I just really love the work that bees do, and I want to be able to create pieces that explain that story and that narrative.
It's so apropos right now as well, as we talk about harvesting and cultivation of everything, right? Through those bees. Are there any, so you've got a public sculpture that's about to go out the door. Is there anything else big coming up in the future that you'd like to tell us about?
Nothing crazy. No, we're maybe expanding what we do in the garden and may have a vegetable subscription box next spring and summer. Just kind of diversify our studio and our income, and with kind of people thinking about local food. And I think we've been always making a big garden, and so we're starting to flush out that idea.
Yeah, we're just anticipating that the end of,
Fantastic. What a wonderful idea. We look forward to that. Sorry, Dawn, you have something to say?
oh, I was just gonna say, we anticipate that this COVID lack of money coming in, shoppers spending money, we just need to have some supplemental income. So we're just being a bit creative with what our assets are here, what we have here. We have this glorious earth that it's just this dark brown dirt that grows almost anything. So we just might as well take advantage of that.
Thank you, Dawn and Brian, so much for being here tonight. Thank you. There was so much attention given to the Honey Bunny. We can't wait for it to find its forever new home. And again, if someone is still there, put out that they didn't get it, there's still one more that's equally exquisite. And with this, I want to send it back to Jenna Stanton. Thank you so much.
They have one of the most fabulous studios in the entire province. We have been fortunate enough to meet there as staff and board a number of times. They're such generous artists and volunteers. But now my next introduction is to someone who I've had the fortune of spending a number of work craftcations with, my travel buddy and co-conspirator, the amazing Megan Black, who is the director of the Canadian Crafts Federation, who has been advocating in overdrive since COVID hit and working with all of the provincial and territorial craft councils as the umbrella organization that works with all of us on advocacy, on special projects, on promoting our artists and our organizations around the world. Megan has been championing working with other arts organizations provincially and nationally to ensure that the Canadian Emergency Relief Benefit was increased to $1,000 a month so that more artists across the country could access that important support. And Megan is just always one of my favorite people to talk to. We have been meeting more often than ever before with COVID times. We've been meeting weekly with the EDs from across the country, and we just have an amazing support network. So I'd just love to introduce you to Megan Black, who's been helping us with webinars as not a mentor, the word. Moderator, also mentor. Anyways, Megan Black.
Thanks so much, Jenna and Saskia and everyone at the Alberta Craft Council. I'm going to stick to my script here, but it's been fascinating so far just to hear the other artists talk and talk about your pieces, talk about your work. One of my absolute favorite things in the world is listening to artists talk about what they do and why they do it. So a pleasure to be here. So let me start with a heartfelt congratulations to everyone who has ever worked with or worked for the Alberta Craft Council. Members, volunteers, and staff have all made this organization into the thriving, transformative council that it stands here before us today. From my personal experience working with the ACC team over the past almost 15 years, this region is chock full of excellent people. There's just no argument there. I consider myself so lucky to have had the opportunity to work with the current staff of the ACC, as well as the kind folks who over the years have taken leadership roles at the CCF. So I just want to name drop a couple of them who've really done an amazing job. Charles Luton-Brain, Simon Root, James Lavoie, Tara Owen, Tom McFall, Jenna Stanton, and so many more people who have really stepped up and come to the plate at the national level. So they brought, and many of them continue to bring, their local perspective to the national and international level as a part of the essential spectrum of provincial and territorial expertise that it takes to build a truly national arts service organization. The ACC has time and again gone above and beyond to help move the needle for craft in Canada, to support the Canadian Crafts Federation, and to ensure that Western Canada plays a prominent role in the ongoing history of Canadian craft at large. So thank you to everyone who has ever contributed anything to the CCF, who has ever brought anything to the table at the ACC. All of those efforts do not go unrecognized. So without this support, I cannot say that the CCF would be as vibrant or as effective as it is today. And for this support, I sincerely thank the entire Alberta craft community. I also want to recognize the most important members of the Alberta Craft Council, all the members. I have had the absolute pleasure of visiting artist studios, galleries, boutiques, museums, educational institutions, you name it. I plan to be there when I am in Alberta. From Edmonton to Calgary, to Banff and Jasper, to Drumheller, Black Diamond, and Medicine Hat, I have never once made it home from Alberta without a new piece for my own personal collection. Albertans are an unquestionably talented pool of artists, and while travel is not currently in the cards, the traditional boundaries of access to Albertan craft are fading with the increase in digital literacy and digital access across the country. Through 40 years of trials and tribulations, the vision behind the Alberta Craft Council remains strong. This is entirely due to the passion and persistence of the members who understand that craft has so much to offer. It is an artistic practice, an economic contributor, a cultural connector, a benefit to mental and physical health. Craft is a teacher, an employer, and a bridge to understanding ourselves and to understanding one another. In a lot of ways, craft is a means to an end, but that end never actually ends. As long as there's human life on Earth, we will need craft, and craft will need us. Because for all the threats that have faced craft's existence, from the voracious growth of mass production and unbridled capitalism, to the undignified dismissal from the public education curriculum, to the word craft's bad rap as the popsicle stick and glitter glue capital of the art world, craft has time and again proven stronger than any poorly executed critique of its existence. It has never stopped being relevant. It has never stopped providing for society, providing comfort in times of need, providing solace in times of sadness, providing jobs and careers through endless economic highs and lows, providing inspiration and human connection that crosses language, culture, and geographic barriers. And craft councils, particularly the Alberta Craft Council, have kept that understanding alive. I've said it a few times over the last 6 months or so, but I'll say it again. If craft can make it through the Industrial Revolution, then craft can make it through the pandemic. So here's to the last 40 years of creative excellence as we continue to adapt and expand and to open more doors and more hearts and more perspectives to truly represent the wide swath of cultures and experiences of craft, even in the most unpredictable and unforeseeable future of our lives. I can't wait to see what the craft artists of Alberta and Canada at large create next. So thank you, merci, miigwech, Walawan, and Kianamik. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Megan. It's always a pleasure to hear you speak and to have you representing all of the craft councils across the country, but also our artists. You do just a phenomenal job, and it's a pleasure to work with you. And then I'm going to put you on the spot one more time and ask you which piece from the auction is your favorite?
Well, I kind of spoiled the answer to that question by publicly saying how much I loved The Honey Bunny by Don and Brian. You can't deny it, it's too sweet. But I actually just want to say that there's probably like a personal reason for that, because I actually had pet rabbits for about 20 years. So I'm a giant sucker for anything with a rabbit on it. But I think there's something so specific about that piece that I like, because people think that rabbits are just sort of like undervalued animal, I think, across Canada. And maybe the relationship with them is a little different in Alberta because they're so much more prolific. They're kind of like squirrels, they're like everywhere, right? But the rabbit that they've made, this honey bunny, it's got this like defiant stance where rabbits really have their own personalities. They might not live that long in the wild, but when you have house rabbits like I did, they live for like 10 years plus. So you really get to know them. And just seeing a rabbit with such personality just like struck me right to the heart. But I'm sorry to take a little more time, but I have to say it was impossible to pick just one. As much as I loved the honey bunny, I'm also a really big fan of some of the textile pieces that are in the show. So I wrote down the names. The Carrie and Natalie earrings that mix metal with textiles. Those are beautiful. The earrings and the necklace set are gorgeous. And the coat that was woven from Kim and Angela, that coat would be mine if it was a little bit bigger. I'm a big gal, so I don't think I fit in the size. No, you're shaking your head at me, so might have to look at that again. But anyways, all the pieces were excellent. There wasn't one bad pick out of the bunch. So anyone who has made a bid is going to go home with something beautiful.
Amazing. Thank you, Megan. And I think as of earlier tonight, that coat is still up for bids, and I can testify to you right now that it would fit you perfectly.
Yes. I tried it on and we're similar. So it suits me very, very well as well. Yes. Thank you, Megan.
Thanks, Megan.
All right, we're going to move on to another one of our members. I don't think he knows the word no very well. He's always, anytime we have any kind of ask for him, he's always there enthusiastically, and that's Todd Safranovich. He's a local Edmonton glassblower, Urban Carrot Studios, and he's in 2 packages. So you have 2 chances to bid on his work. One of them, he was an adventuresome individual, so we invited artists to apply as individuals that we would pair. We have 2 of those on the webinar tonight, and this is the first one. So Todd, based in Edmonton, we paired him with Simon Root, who Megan also spoke earlier, and who's based in Calgary. So Simon is a metal artist and Todd is a glass artist. And so we thought it would be an interesting pairing. And of course, they did the most wonderful glass tiles that almost look like glacier ice in a way. You can stand them or you can hang them. And they just feature really beautiful pieces from Simon's metalwork and then Todd's work. So Todd, as we showed, I'd love for you to just speak briefly about your experience working with Simon, especially at a distance. And particularly, you spoke to me about the significance of the house, which I thought was very poignant.
Hi. Yeah, thank you. The house is actually from our homestead, the Safranovich homestead, just outside of Chipman. When our family came here, and I've been doing a lot of old photos and stuff. Oh, sorry. I've been doing a lot of old photos, and the house is from our old homestead. I've been doing transferring a lot of photos from my parents' old 5mm video, or not even video, film, to CD and stuff, and then taking still images of that. And so these are all old stills from probably the 1970s, 69, 70, 72 kind of thing. And yeah, so that's the old farmhouse.
Thank you, Todd, so much. I really love them. I'm bidding on one as well, so just,
Bid, because I'm stuck here.
We can't do anything. Oh no. Well, you can always do a proxy bidding, which I wasn't smart enough to do, but if you want. All right, so we're going to carry on. So the second package that Todd is a part of is, because he's also studios based in Strathcona, we thought it natural to pair him with one of our community partners who is normally on Twas the Night with their wonderful cocktails, and that is the tiniest distillery in Canada, the Strathcona Spirits Distillery. So we have this amazing package pairing the 2 of them. We have 4 custom portrait tumblers from Todd. We'll have him speak to that in a moment. Plus, we have the barrel-aged gin and the single grain vodka from Strathcona Spirits Distillery, plus a tour for 20 people through the distillery. Unfortunately, you can't do that tour right now. The caveat is it never expires. Don't know about that deal with Todd, but anyway. So if if you could speak just briefly about what the winning bidders can expect to experience in your studio with your part of the Strathcona experience.
Yeah, so we've taken these images. We'll make some tumblers. We get to we'll work with the client and choose some images that they want, whether pictures or landscapes or of any specific image. We then transfer it to a high temperature enamel decal, and then we'll basically play in the studio, and we'll make them up for you. Yeah, we'll try and do that quite promptly here, because I want to get things done prior to Christmas, because Rael wants our work quickly.
Thank you, Todd, so much. Yes, of course. We're so greedy for your work here. All right, we also have now part of this all the way. We're just going to cheers for a moment because we have your portrait glasses and we have a wonderful cocktail that we're going to queue up from Strathcona Spirits Distillery. So the winning package can also make their very own cocktail should they like. So if you need a little break, you need a refreshment, you need to stretch your legs, whichever. Otherwise, just enjoy this wonderful video for a couple of minutes. And cheers.
I'm Michelle. Welcome to Strathcona Spirits. We are Edmonton's first distillery and North America's smallest. We are located in the sunny Boomtown building just off of White Ave. Our current lineup features 4 spirits. First, we have our single grain vodka, made from 100% red hard wheat, sourced from a local farmer. Next in our lineup is the Badlands Seaberry Gin, made with 8 different botanicals, 2 of them sourced locally. Then we have our White Oak Pinot Gin. This is our Badlands Seaberry Gin, aged in an ex-Pinot Noir barrel. And last but not least is our barrel-aged gin, which will be featured in our cocktail today. This gin is a smoking oaken gin, aged in a virgin American white oak barrel that has been charred. Cinnamon sticks, cypress bowl bitters, orange, and of course, ice. First, we're going to add some ice to our glass. Then we will need our shot glass and our barrel aged. We'll do 2 ounces of barrel aged gin. A few drops of cypress bitters. Top it up with apple cider. Give her a little stir. Garnish with a cinnamon stick and orange peel. Cheers.
So that was Strathcona Spirits Distillery. We're so excited to have them a part of it. Maybe not in person, but we'll have that later. Next up, we're not going to leave everything to the north. We've also got a special experience happening in southern Alberta, in Canmore. So we have a wonderful package. Our community member down there is Wildlife Distilleries. And we also, and one of our wonderful members is Nicole Tremblay from Fireweed Glass Studio. So we have a wonderful package coming up with that. We have 4 little exquisite bottles of delicious liquor tastiness from Wildlife. And then we also have these beautiful goblets and glass straws from Nicole. And then also you get an entire experience at Fireweed, sorry, that's probably not the first time, Fireweed, my apologies, with Nicole's partner, Deanna, business partner, Deanna as well. So Nicole, if you don't mind, we're going to play a video, and if you wouldn't mind explaining a little bit about, oh, here we go, there's the package. So if you see it, look, those glasses are so exquisite, the kaleidoscope glasses, there's such a lovely tone to them. Anyway, as you can see, and hopefully a number of you saw them also in person while you're here, or when you came to visit here, if you did. And with no further ado, let's pass it on to the video. And Nicole, if you would like to talk a little bit about what people can expect to experience for those who do win the package and come to Fireweed for the glassblowing experience, an interpretive guide.
Yeah, for sure. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? So yeah, so the first thing we'll do is you'll come to the glass blowing studio, Fireweed Glass Studio, and you get to pick out up to 4 colors I find works well in these pieces. And we'll talk about what kind of shape you want. I know I said I'd make a vase, but if you would prefer a picture to match your glasses, I can do that too for you. And then I'll make it and you can watch. And Deanna will be there to explain what's going on and tell you all about glass. And then you don't get to take the piece home right away. It needs a couple of days to cool down. But that will be your piece, and you got to watch it made. And yeah, I just love this pattern because it just uses all the colors and like the ooey gooiness of glass. And I'm really loving this pattern, and the glasses are super fun, and vases and pictures and things like that look really nice with this pattern too. So that will be your first stop. And then once that's over, you get to go down the block to Wildlife Distillery and check out what they've got there and have cocktails, and it's just going to be a really fun day.
Thank you, Nicole, so much for being a part of this. It's always a pleasure to see you. We have Nicole and I are friends. I haven't seen you, and it feels like ages. But good, thank you for being a part of this. And this is going to be so exciting. Like, Canmore is such a beautiful spot. Your studio is in such a beautiful location. So we can't thank you enough for your support and being a part of this. And do you have anything coming up that we should know about?
Well, in Calgary, I will be participating in the Handmade Here show, third weekend of December. There are some events going on in Canmore. I think there's a studio coming up where our studio isn't necessarily going to be part of that, but that's going on. We're also going to be doing just a lot of promotion on the website, just because it's really hard to go shopping in person. So if people want to shop or come to the craft council or whatever, so we've got some of those things going on, but it's kind of a quiet year. Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, Nicole Tremblay, for being with us here tonight. We look forward to hopefully seeing you again. And I'm really glad that you've got some events, some markets and things coming up as well. So if anyone's in Canmore, come stare through the glass, because I don't think the studio is open right now, but come say hi.
By appointment. So if people want to come visit, they want to come shop, whatever, they just have to give us a call or send us an email and we'll make an appointment.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nicole. All right, we're going to pass it on to the next. I know it's fast paced. So we are at 10 minutes away from the closing. So that means if there's no bid happening within 5 minutes, so within 5 minutes from now, then those bids close. So, oh my gosh, Jenna and I, like, we can't do anything. I guess we're done, right? We didn't think this through. Anyway, but if any bids come in within 5 minutes, then it will continue to extend for another 5. All right, our next collaboration, so Megan also mentioned them, is Carrie Wu and Natalie Gerber. So Carrie Wu is based out of Cochrane. She's one of our board members and member since 2009, and also become a Canadian Crafts Federation regional representative, which we're very excited about. And we have Natalie Gerber, who is our neighbor in C-Space in Calgary. So there's always exciting things back and forth going there. So these two wonderful artists applied. We also applied as a existing duo, but they hadn't actually worked together before, is the rumor has it. So so I wanted to start with Natalie first, because Natalie, you've got quite an extensive textile practice, and we love the process shots that you had. And if you could just speak a little bit to how that cording came about.
I can't take any credit for that, because actually it was Carrie that sort of got the ball rolling for our collaboration. Carrie and I actually graduated the same year, I think, as Jenna. So we've known each other a really long time, and we've both really enjoyed each other's work, and I respect Carrie's work very much. And so it seemed like it was a natural fit that after gosh, I don't know, more than 15 years of knowing each other that we should work together.
Thank you so much, Natalie. I'm going to pass it on to Carrie. I want to pop Carrie onto the screen as well. So we had the great fortune, you're going to see a little bit about this a little bit later, but we had the wonderful fortune, good fortune, Jenna and I, to be in Cochrane while Carrie was proofing the final design for the craft collaboration. So it was really quite exciting to be there as part of that. So Carrie, this is really interesting. Can you talk a little bit about the surface design and briefly and what you were thinking with the little boxes and the design coming together for the earrings and the necklace?
Sure. So Natalie's textile patterns, we had talked about trying to apply them to metal. So rather than screen prints, they became a texture on the surface of the metal. And there were a few different ways to get that to happen. And so the background you see here on your screen is her surface design that I've transferred to the metal surface, and then I etched that surface. So anything that you see with the black surface didn't get etched. They're the high spots. And then once I was able to etch those patterns into the metal, I was able to put the copper sheets, I also did brass sheets through my rolling mill, which you saw in the video there, to transfer the surface design. And so it was really interesting transferring that design because of course it changed the scale a little bit. You know, it was a little bit uneven, and so it became a very organic kind of process. But I just loved the way and how subtle the design was on the surface there. And yeah, we worked with 2 of her different surface designs, and I've always been a fan of Natalie's design. We kind of have a minimalist, you know, appreciation for minimalism and mid-century modern design and architecture. And so, we have collaborated before creating events, but not artwork. So this was a step in that direction, and quite possibly it'll continue in some way, shape, or form. There's been discussion around that. But yeah, that's part of the process there.
Thank you, Carrie, and thank you, Natalie, as well. I know Carrie and I have had discussions back and forth, and it's just been really exciting to hear how this collaboration has impacted your artistic practice. And what I think is really interesting too is almost everyone we've spoken to that has gone through craft collaborations are thinking of continuing to collaborate together. So this is really interesting. Like a lot of people have never done it before, and now just through that synthesis of styles coming together, it's really changed your practice. So thank you so much for being part of that. And if people haven't seen that necklace and the earrings together, the necklace is double-sided. The workwomanship on it is exquisite, absolutely flawless, just so stunning. I cannot, anyway, we love it. So thank you both. We're going to continue on to another adventuresome individual. So we had another pairing that we put together, and that is Karen Creason and John Smith Jones. So we had 2 artists, both based in Calgary, who said, you know, I'd like to do something a little bit different, maybe work outside of my own, what I'm used to doing. And we put them together, didn't hear a peep. And then with great fortune, when Jenna and I were in Calgary recently, we were there just as they were dropping off their craft collaborations. So I had, if they allowed me to film them talking about their work as it was being unveiled to a very eager audience at our C-Space location.
The bison. John created the wood base and the metal form. I created the jewelry pieces. And we had a great time working together.
Yeah, it was quite fun.
Lots of conversation through our troubles.
Thank you so very much, John and Karen. I wish I meant to chat with you a little bit more because there's actually some really interesting things going on. And unfortunately, I think we're a little short on time. But John, I just wanted to let everyone know, and you can say no or yes, about that your work is very much about surface and it's the interior of the pieces as well. And we have some pieces in the gallery for an exhibition that's opening up this Saturday with some of your vessels, which are really exquisite. So I encourage people to come visit and work. And it seemed like the two of you had a really enjoyable time working together, even though you had not done that before. And Karen, I'm wondering, because you had a wonderful poem that I hope everyone will also look at in the on our auction site as well. The piece is called Return of the Bison, and it is about the repopulation of bison in our provincial parks. Karen, would you like to speak to that briefly, please? For a moment.
Can you hear me? Okay. So it was a story published by Parks Canada, and it was it occurred in January. With all the COVID news that was going on, I was attracted to the story because it was exciting and some good news. But it was about 31 bison who were allowed to, well, they weren't given permission. They left their enclosure that they had been in the Panther Valley of Banff National Park. So when you drive into Banff, you would see the bison on the perimeter, and it's those bison that they moved to Panther Valley and corralled them while they were still doing studies. And it was this early spring where they decided that the bison would, for the first time in 140 years, be set free to roam in the 1,200 square kilometer area. And so yeah, that was just really exciting news. And I thought, why not make a piece of jewelry just highlighting this event?
Thank you, Karen, so much. John, I'm sorry I had so many questions lined up for you, and I'm sorry, we're just gonna have to redo it another time. But also, I really encourage everyone to come and see the excellence show that we have coming up, opening this weekend in Edmonton, to see your work. So I apologize, I owe you one because I had some really interesting discussions. I'm going to pass it over back to Jenna Stanton for another artistic pairing that we had, this time once again an existing duo.
I'm happy to introduce the audience to two new members of our Craft Council family, Aaron Berry and Chris Savage. They are new to us from Calgary and I believe the coast. And they are not only collaborators on this project with us, but they also applied for a Discovery Gallery exhibition in Edmonton with us for 2021. And we're really excited to not only have this piece in the craft collaborations, but to have an entire exhibition of their collaborative work together. So Aaron and Chris, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I'm just wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about what we can hope to see in your exhibition coming up in March of the new year.
Hello. Hi. It's great to be here and share a little bit about the work that we did for this amazing lineup of collaborations. My name is Chris Savage, and I am one half of the collaborative duo with Aaron Berry, who's also here tonight and will speak a little bit. So we've been collaborating for a little over a year now, and started these collaborations at Medalta while we were both doing month-long residencies there last summer. And this piece is a part of an ongoing series of collaborative works, which was mentioned, and we are very excited to be showing a broader selection of them all this coming March 20th. So we look forward to seeing you there.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Chris. And Aaron, did you want to add anything about the exhibition or the collaboration as well? yourself here.
Can everyone hear me? I can talk about our process a bit. So right before the residency we both went to, I was looking at some of Chris's drawings that he was posting, and I approached him, and we've known each other for a long time. We both grew up in Victoria, BC, and I said, like, I'd love to do some collaborations with you. So we kind of started doing some work together at Medalta, and it's kind of turned into a project where I look at his drawings that he's doing. I throw some pots on the wheel, and right now, because we're not in the same city, I ship a pot to him, and he draws on it, and then he ships it back, and I can glaze the pot in a way. And the one that's actually in the show for the collaboration, I was able to go to Calgary this summer and glaze it with him there. So yeah, it's been great. We're really excited about our show in March.
That's so great. It's nice to meet you both, and welcome to the Craft Council family. And we really are looking forward to that exhibition. And whether it's COVID times then or not, everyone will definitely be treated to a longer webinar with both you and Chris, so that we can hear a lot more about your practice and your exhibition. So that's been a nice thing about these times, is that we've been able to share artist talks with our audiences across the province and wider. We've had people join us from Australia. So we're looking forward to having your work in the gallery and just hearing more about your exhibition in the upcoming months. So thanks, Erin and Chris.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well. I have to say that I don't know that much about glazes, so I can't wait to hear about it, because just the surface design just intrigues the heck out of me. I want to know all about it. So guess what, everybody? It's 8:04, which means the bidding has closed, except we still have fierce bidding going on for Annette Tincada's anthropomorphic or whimsical portrait. So that's really exciting. So I don't know who's going. We won't look at the back end, but just keep on bidding. It's all for a good cause. Now I'm going to turn it back to Jenna.
Well, that's pretty exciting. I think our audience members and supporters are also interested in collaborating and want to battle it out to see if they can win that collaboration with Annette Tincada, which is going to be a real treat for whoever bids the highest on that one. We look forward to seeing who the winner is. And again, if you bid within 5 minutes, it'll keep it going for another 5 minutes, all the way up until 8:30, when that is our official cutoff for any battles. So hopefully whoever's duking it out keeps going till 8:30. But I just wanted to talk briefly about, before we update on our totals and that kind of thing, is just how important every one of you is to us in helping support us through these challenging times. We've pivoted, we've advocated with our colleagues, both municipally, provincially, and particularly federally, with Megan Black at the helm of that, which has been really impactful for our artists and for our organizations. And it's been a real pleasure to be a part of that, especially when we see winning results. So please do communicate with us if you are struggling or have challenges. Be open to the community that's here to support you. We definitely want to help in any way that we can. And our staff is always here for the artists. If you have any concerns or need support, definitely reach out to us. And we've changed and pivoted so much over this time, so it's been exciting in ways. All of a sudden, we have an online shop. And I can't say all of a sudden, because a lot of work went into it from Rael Lockwood and definitely Victoria Sanchez as well. We started doing Monday meetups where we had webinars with people like Dr. Anne Bissonnette from University of Alberta, teaching people about her research into mask making. We've had webinars on craft and mental health with Alison Tunis. So we've been able to introduce our artists and our audiences to many new faces, which has really been a treat to be able to have audience members as far away as Australia who've joined us for some of our talks, and just to expand that community and make space available for people to join us from rural locations and share their practices as well. Someone that I'm would like to give a little more time to talk to actually is Victoria Sanchez. Victoria has been working in overdrive over the past 6 months as our digital content developer. So Victoria, I just want to give you an opportunity to maybe speak to some of the things that you've been working on over the last 6 months.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jenna. I think you summarized it perfectly. Having our audiences come from as far as Australia, being able to just today, right? We're connecting from like 5, 6 different cities at least that I can tell. It's been a really exciting time. I think for everyone working digitally, definitely as doing social media and digital content, it's an exciting time to be able to share lots more stories, lots of knowledge, and all the creativity that up until maybe a year ago it was reaching a large audience, but all of a sudden it kind of seems like the world is their oyster, right? So we pivoted again. Our online shop is being updated monthly by our shop staff. So we've been able to sell work all across Canada and the United States via our online shop. So that's an amazing service to our artists, and I think to anyone that wants to own a little bit of craft made in Alberta. I also had the opportunity, and just when we locked down, how do we share the stories of our artists? We normally tell them to the people that visit our gallery. We started our craft studio stories, like the one you watched from Don and Brian. And again, just it's been a really interesting time for connecting. Everyone's trying to do their best, especially in the arts organizations. Everyone's sharing a lot of knowledge. So we were able to share that story, Don and Brian's story, with Craft Victoria in Australia. And we in turn borrowed one of their artists. So lots of exchange happening, very exciting. Lots of audience engagement. So it's a very exciting time for us. And our doors are wide open. Come visit us in our galleries, but also engage online. It's me and it's people behind the screen. So always happy to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Victoria. It's been a real pleasure seeing all that content being created and engagement. And I don't think any of us can reiterate enough. Reach out to us. We are here. We are resources for you. We want to know what's going on. And if we hear from you, then we can also create some custom content and engagement for you. So it's really, really important that we reach out. And on that note, it's kind of an interesting story. So way back in March and April, when the grim reality was setting in, a lot of our artists were saying, a lot of people were saying, we don't have any work anymore, especially if you're an independent contractor. Those contracts just fell away. And there's someone that I've known for many, many years, bumping into him with other contract or consulting work that I've done, and we walk our dogs in the same dog park. And I bumped into Mr. Ian Jackson, and we were just chatting. And of course, he didn't have much to do. He's a photographer and a videographer, and a very, very good one at that. And so he was just trying to figure out what he was going to do when there's no work coming in. How do you maintain your creativity in that? So he just said, what I want to do is I just want to work. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to create. I don't want to be sitting at home waiting for something or nothing to happen. So I said, well, I have an idea for you. So we didn't have any, here's our 40th anniversary, and we needed something to celebrate what our community and what craft means to our community, and how wonderful our artists are, and just talk about our impact as well. So Ian has been going on a wonderful adventure with us for the last 3.5, 4 months, all around the province, meeting with our artists and interviewing them and engaging with them. And we'd like very much to, we're going to first debut our first iteration of the video that Ian has created for us, Epic Photography. He's one of our community partners. So you got to sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's premiere, a video from Epic Photography, and we'll meet back in 4.5 minutes.
To me, craft is mostly connection, you know? It's the way we connect to each other, to our families, to our histories. Every culture in our world has had an immense amount of craft, you know? It's how we developed as a society and as a people.
I've been a maker for a long time. I'm from a family of makers. As I said before, my grandmother was a weaver. My other grandmother is a painter. Right behind you is her work. I think that craft to me is about hand. It's about feeling generational wisdom that's passed down.
I think from an early age, the inspiration for making came from the inability to get what I wanted or what I perceived I wanted. Mind you, my life was always very much enriched by Meccano and Play-Doh and an artistic family in general.
I showed up at my first class. It was a nighttime class, and I literally touched the metal, and it was like I knew I had to keep working with this material. It's like I had done it before, and it was, I mean, even talking now, I just have chills talking about it, but, you know, that was it. I was like, it was a done deal. Yeah.
The really amazing thing about having your first solo show at the Craft Council is just, you feel like you're having a solo show within home and within family and within kind of your home country and where you live. Like there's something really wonderful about being so supportive, especially as an emerging artist and somebody who does do a lot of contemporary things.
I think it was maybe in the first year or second year, and they had a call for artists, and I applied, and I had a piece accepted, and I'm like, oh, this is exciting. And when I got there, there was a red dot, which means that it had sold. And I was ridiculously excited because it would I just hadn't sold that many pieces. And this was quite a weird contemporary piece of sculpture. So that sold me right there on how valuable it is to be able to have a relationship with an entity, be it a gallery, an organization, or whatever, that could actually really understand and support me as an artist.
The Alberta Crafts Council is so important to fine craft in Canada, internationally. These organizations give credence to fine craft when the fine arts would dismiss us.
You need energy, laugh, feeling, intellect, innovation, and poetry, and something that affects the senses. And that's what makes craft art, and I think craft and art are the same thing.
So craft, I mean, we craft our food. We craft our life. Whether we're an accountant, a lawyer, or an artist, we all create, and we're always creating. That's what the universe is made from. The universe was created from the Big Bang, and we're creating constantly. That's quantum physics. So craft is life, right?
Echo, echo, echo. Thanks. So that was so exciting. Please let us know what you think of the video in the chat, or just reach out to us. We're so excited and happy and fortunate to have artists that are so enthusiastic to be a part of this. And then Ian, I want to put you on the spot. What did you think about working with these interesting artists of ours and traveling around the province?
Oh, it was exciting. My
you know, my sister is an artist, various people in my family are artists, but it's really interesting to be able to go into people's studios and see how they take, you know, something in their head and bring it out on into real life, into the third dimension, into two dimension, into whatever they're creating. And everybody has a unique way of doing their art. And, you know, so one person's method is completely 180 degrees from somebody else's. So, you know, the feeling I get is I go, it's a new adventure every time. It's like, what am I going to learn now? So it's exciting. And it's the kind of stories I like to tell too, because it's, you know, it's people who spend a lot of time by themselves, and, you know, maybe not glass artists, but, you know, a lot of the other artists are spending a lot of time by themselves. So it's interesting to see, you know, sort of peel back the onion and see who they are. I mean, I'd love to spend more time in the studios.
You did such an amazing job as well, selecting a lot of the quotes that we heard in the video. What were some of the other moments or quotes that really stood out to you that perhaps didn't make it into this particular iteration, but we may see later, or just things that sort of really struck you?
That's a tough question. There is a lot of material so far, and there's going to be more. We're going to be coming to. So it's, you know, the things that I'm looking forward to are you know, are getting into showing some of the actual aspects of how people are working. People like Shona Ray is a good example. I mean, we talked about dogs for a lot while we were shooting, because she has a dog in her studio, and I brought my dog with us. And thank you guys for looking after him. Much appreciated. And so you sort of, I don't know what the right answer to that question is. I think there's stuff coming that's a little bit more dramatic in terms of the processes, but I think there's also, you know, when people are talking about their life in art, in craft and making it, you know, you sort of start to see that this is, you know, it's not just something they're doing because they have to do it. Or not because they have to do it, but something they're doing because they need to make a living, or they need to do whatever. It's the thing that they have to do. You know, it's their passion. So.
Thank you, Ian. And thank you for sharing your passion with us as well. Like, it's just
No
been
problem.
such a pleasure. And Victoria and I, and we've been working with Ian quite a bit, and he has just such a wonderful instinct for visualizing things, for narration as well. We've had a lot of really good laughs. So I'm going to just throw it out to anyone who wants to get some video done. Ian from Epic Photography, go talk to him, because it's been an absolute pleasure. And Ian, it's been a pleasure talking with you as well. And we'll talk soon, because it is with his lights that we don't look like we're terribly jowly and everything else. So he came and kitted us out a little bit.
I feel like I need to come over and help fix it up a little bit more, even. So
we're working
baby steps. Next one's going to look even better.
Thank you so much, Ian. So much.
No
We'll
problem.
see you again tomorrow. Thanks for being on the call with us today. And this is a little segue for those of our community partners who were not here today, but we really want to do a shout out to them. One of them is Rona from Pause and Design Photography. If you saw the incredible photographs that were taken last year at TWAS, you might have seen Rona in the crowd. She's another one who also found herself without a lot of work, especially when things shut down. And we're so happy that she came to us, or we reached out to her. And so you saw how lovely, or at least I hope you liked, our auction photographs of the works, as well as the photographs of the online shop. That is Rona's tutorialness, brilliance to us. So that was her helping us so that we can be a little bit more independent. And there's my favorite word, pivot, to the new reality. And also we want to do a shout out to Jeff Yee. He's in Calgary, and he's been a long time supporter of us, photographing all things Calgary events. And of course we have Strathcona Spirits Distillery, again, one of our community partners, and we have Wildlife Distilleries in Canmore. And what I want to do is say, if we're always looking for wonderful people and organizations to partner with, and this is really a time to reach out and collaborate with each other. So if you as audience members think of someone or an organization that you feel they would align well with the Alberta Craft Council, please reach out to me. I would really like to hear about that, and because this is such a right moment for making those connections and making just raising each other collectively up. So I'm really passionate about, well, we all are very passionate about that. I can't take all the credit on that. So if you do think of someone or organization, again, now or in the future, please do reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Full stop. And to that, I would love to pitch it over to Jenna Stanton once more.
All right, well, before I say our goodbyes and thank yous, we have an important update from Victoria, who is going to breaking news.
Yeah, well, our auction closed, and I tally up the total, and we are sitting at $12,392. So that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Victoria, and thank you everyone for bidding. It's really been a fantastic project, and we've just seen so many great connections between our artists and lasting collaborations that are going to continue, and we can't wait to see that work continue to grow and change, and the networks between our artists to expand and become stronger and deeper. We are expanding the hours that we are putting towards member services, and we'll announce an exciting new hire in that position at our AGM at 7 p.m. on October 26th. If you remember, you should have received an invitation to that. Looking forward to seeing you all there and announcing that. But really tonight, I just want to thank everyone who attended, all of the artists who were able to share a bit more about their creativity and process. Thank you to all of the artists who collaborated. Thank you especially to everyone who bid. Your support is truly what keeps us going. And that support doesn't have to be monetary. We really appreciate everyone who shared all of our posts and social media. That really helped get some traction. As we postponed our close for 2 weeks, we really bumped up our numbers significantly. So thank you so much. Again, we raised over $12,000, and $7,000 of that is going directly to artists in our community. And the rest of it will roundabout go back to artists in our community through all the programming, exhibitions, professional development that we have planned. And I'd really like to particularly thank our staff. All of the staff at the Alberta Craft Council have been incredibly adaptive in these challenging and changing times. They're willing to prototype and work through new things like this tonight. So thank you for sticking with us through a few technical challenges. The next one will be even smoother. But truly, we couldn't do it without all of you. And a huge thank you to Saskia, who is the project lead for this crafts collaboration. It was a good opportunity for all of you to get to know Saskia a little better through this process. And again, Victoria Sanchez, our digital content developer, for always having our backs behind the scenes and our digital face as we move forward through these times. And who else can I thank? Well, of course, Megan Black from the Canadian Crafts Federation. Thank you, Megan, for speaking tonight so eloquently. And our own Tara Owen. Tara, thank you so much again for joining us and speaking so eloquently. And Ian, your video is fantastic. I know that you have hours and hours of footage, and that will come out in shorts and other features on different artists. We can't wait and are so excited to finally have video content of that caliber to share with our supporters and just bring new people into the fold, and that's going to go a really long way for us. So again, a huge thank you there. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing what we can do in the next 40 years. We had a pretty strong foundation to build from. So thank you so much for sharing the night with us. And Thank you so much for raising all that money for our artists and the Craft Council. Cheers.
Cheers.